Carmelo Anthony's strategy of hiring Charleston White to rally more of the public behind Carmelo may have just backfired big time. In an alleged newly leaked audio recording of Charleston White. Now, while the authenticity of that is still being verified at this moment, either way, Carmelo has just learned a major lesson about the brand new world he's about to enter into, just how devious it will be and how much he has to learn still if he hopes to survive in prison. I'll explain everything. Let's get started. So first things first, maybe you've seen or heard this already. A couple other videos are already out there with this audio. I'm going to play just a snippet or two of the audio. I mean, it's really, this video isn't about what was said in the audio, but I'll play you just a bit of it so you can hear it in case you haven't, and kind of give you the gist of it, and then we'll get into it.
Right there. I said, say, homie, cut that snot crying. What you want and what's the bag look like? That goofy ass daddy, he clapping from the sideline like I'm doing something noble. I'm not your soldier, I'm your scammer. You just funding your own destruction. Now check this out, let me give you the real play. I want that Sarah and Metcalf family to sue me. I dare them, please. Cause soon as them white lawyers call, I'm flipping like pancakes in grandma.
Did your son take that knife to school? Nah, Mr. Charleston. It's a grown man, homie. He said, man, I done the research on you. I looked into what you do. If my son get out of this, man, I want my son to work with your youth campaign. But man, my son didn't do this. I got other kids to raise. I'm not for to put, and he really done it. He said he didn't do it, man. It's more things that I can't say. Just go clear this kid. But just the video alone, homie. I said that's why the media outlets ain't saying nothing about the video.
So there, you have a snippet of the leaked audio. Both of these credit to the YouTube channels, YouTube Streets right here and AG Tactical right here. You heard a snippet of the audio and it sounds very much like Charleston is completely flipping the script. He's been paid off by the Carmelo Anthony family at first. And so initially he was against the Carmelo family. Now, a month or two later, he has totally changed his mind, all in favor of the Carmelo Anthony family, likely because he's been bought. And so he went on a campaign that we've already covered, trying to clear Carmelo's name. And now we have another flip-flop, possibly. A lot of people think this is AI. And it might be. I mean, if you ask me, his voice sounds very constant. It's almost like a voice in the same piano key. Constantly. There's no breaks, there's no inflections, there's no stuttering. And if you listen to a lot of Charleston White interviews, which I have, he does a lot of stuttering, not like speech impediment stuttering, but he will stop and kind of stumble upon his words and kind of gather his thoughts in between one or two sentences and then continue. All this sounds very constant and just linear. And there's not too much high and low there. And again, I'm no tech genius. I'm no wizard with computers and AI. I don't know. But I know just enough to not get scammed online. That's about it. But to me, just a regular guy, I don't know how much I think it's authentic. But I think the strongest argument and why it's so hard for people to decide whether it's authentic or not is because everything that is being said in this recording, real or fake, is so on par. If you're familiar with Charleston White, which I am, a lot of you are, some of you, and a lot of you probably are not. But I'm telling you, I've watched probably every piece of content there is about Charleston White since he got started on the internet. It's kind of part of my job. I stay in touch with a lot of these people are not in touch, but just tuned in, I guess. I got to know about these things, unfortunately. It's very on par for his character and his motives and just how he operates with things. And I think that's the main thing really, nobody really knows, right? even Sarah Fields, lead journalist on all things Carmelo, and she's the one who's brought you almost every update you've heard any YouTuber, including me, regurgitate on their own channel. That's why I always give her credit. Even she was like, yes, I'm aware of the audio, still waiting to verify the authenticity of that, because it's borderline. It might be, it might not. Can't really tell. But I'll tell you what is authentic. That second thing that I showed you, where it's an actual interview with him, his actual visual, the video of him speaking, that is true. And, he's sitting up there and he's talking about how, Carmelo's dad called him Mr. Charleston, Mr. White, Mr. Charleston. No, and just, and when all this is over, I want my son to be a part of your youth campaign. And what Drew Anthony, Carmelo's dad, is doing, he is, there is a term I'd say, but it's a little vulgar for YouTube, but he is really kissing butt with Charleston, and Charleston loves that. And here's the thing, so let's put those two pieces of media that I just showed you to the side. I just want to, here's what I really want to get into and explain to you. Charleston White, this is facts. He is a former ex-con. He is an ex-con at heart. He knows the game. He knows how it goes. He's been there, done that with prison. And part of that will always stick with you. Part of that will always stick with me. No matter how hard I try to get away from it and distance myself and reinvent myself, which I do try hard to do.
Skinner boy, Skinner boy, Skinner boy. Get the boy, Skinner boy, Skinner boy, Skinner boy, Skinner boy, Skinner boy, Skinner boy.
Part of that, you can never stop your brain from like recognizing and just kind of hitting that switch into convict mode at certain times. And you can choose to go with that, or you can choose to be like, that's just the old me talking. Moving on, Charleston White, he's been there, done that. Honestly, he could have been the greatest prison coach ever for Carmelo, but listen, he doesn't care. He's not interested in that. And when there was no money on the table, he initially came out and condemned Carmelo Anthony and said, I hope he gets everything he deserves, which basically hoped he got life, if not more. He hoped he got severely punished. He's a murderer. That's what Charleston thought. Those are his true feelings. Now, when money's on the table, he's flipped the whole script, okay? That, again, keep it in context. Charleston is an ex-con with an ex-con mentality. He's been broke all his life. He's never had nothing. These are his own words. He became a community activist for black people. He would be in his community, and to his credit, he would do a lot of work in his community and really try to make a change and make his voice heard and really try to just better his own black community. No one cared. No one would listen. Then he started getting interviews and going viral, and he capitalized on that. And he started getting money. He started getting paid. And then in a very famous viral interview, I'm not going to show all these. I'm not going to take the time to show these. Just trust me. And if you want to go find them for yourself, you can find them. But in a very famous interview, he said, yeah, I'm no longer a community activist because when I was out there really trying to help the community and speak up on their behalf, no one gave a crap about anything I was saying. And at the same time, I was making no money being a community activist. And my family, my own family, I'm out there making my voice heard for the community. They're not listening or trying to change. Meanwhile, my own family's back home starving, broke. And so he even admitted, which I can't, I'm not mad at him for this, but he did admit, once I started going viral on social media and people started paying me to do interviews, people pay him $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 to make appearances. He's that viral. Every time this guy gets on camera, he says something so controversial and so wild that it just goes viral. And so people are paying him big money, and he's getting booked all the time. And this has been going on for years now. So he's got a lot of money now. And he says in the interview, yeah, I'm no longer a community activist. And the guy's like, well, doesn't that Don't you think that's kind of, you're turning your back, you were a community activist and now you're getting a lot of money and you've stopped being an activist for the community. Don't you think you've turned your back on them? He said, I've absolutely turned my back on them. F them. Because nobody cared about anything I had to say until I started going viral, getting famous, and earning money. Meanwhile, my kids are at home starving. So now I'm getting money and I'm providing for my family. So you know what? Yeah, I've absolutely switched up on my community. I'm not condemning him for that. I'm not saying that's right or wrong. I'm just giving you context. And this is all points to his character. And trust me, we're getting to Carmelo and his prison experience. But I need to set the stage. You need to understand the mind of a convict, an opportunist, a survivalist, a beneficist. Is that a word? Beneficist, a beneficiary, a benefitter. Something like that. Somebody in the comments will correct me, I'm sure. Y'all love to do that. Charleston White will do anything if the dollar sign looks green enough to him. And this is a big lesson. Carmelo, you should be taking notes, and I'm not on your side. I won't be mad if you don't take notes. I won't be mad if you don't learn anything from this. I won't be mad if you do stay naive and green and just such a newcomer who has no idea what he's entering into. That's fine. But I'm just telling y'all, if I was Carmelo, I would be taking notes. You got Charleston White. You just paid him money to support you, shift the public opinion politics in your favor, and ultimately benefit you within the society. When you go to prison, paying extortion money or being a benefit to someone who is influential, let's say Charleston White is that influential person, because if you don't know, Charleston White was formerly a very high-ranked, very powerful and influential Crip gang member. He was. That's a fact. I'm telling you, Charleston's been through it, and he's been there and done that. You're dealing with a real deal former gangbanger, former leader, former convict, and a hustler. Oh, you don't think that's relevant? He's going to prison with 100 of those. And let me tell you now, Charleston ain't the best to ever do it. Charleston ain't the greatest to ever be the greatest hustler, the greatest gangbanger, and the greatest leader. He ain't the best to ever do it. There are people far out of his league in Texas prison right now waiting to get their hands on Carmelo Anthony and mold him because he is so young and impressionable, and he just does what anybody a little bit older than him who pretends to have any type of, experience and authority above him says. You are the prime target in prison. That's the point I'm trying to make. And so do you see how, having money, I can buy influence. I can buy prison politics. No more public community politics for Charleston. I can, in the same way, I can buy prison politics. I can buy that. I can buy that. I can buy that. But guess what? You buy and buy and buy, and then when you can't buy anymore, or maybe you can still buy more, but then you start talking to somebody, your cellmate or somebody like that, and in what you think is in confidence, in secrecy, just like Charleston. If this is real, probably whoever he was talking to and having this conversation with that got recorded and leaked, apparently it's a stripper. And I think that fits just enough to where she'd be devious enough to record that and share that. Probably shared it with a blog, social media blog account for the right price. She knows what she has. Strippers are hustlers too. It's a whole game, and he's entering into this world. It's no more Frisco, Texas mansions, good living, family-friendly place, track meets, football. Dad, will you buy me some new cleats for my big game coming up Saturday? No, you're in there with freaking killers and advantage takers, opportunists, and cold-blooded villains who would cut your throat if it benefited them enough. The same people who would pretend to be your friend for a year, 2 years straight, they will cut your throat at the first chance they get if the price is right. if the opportunity is large enough. Because see, now you see, yeah, you can buy influence, you can buy power. You're being extorted, but they're not going to frame it, a little kid, a little teen like him who wants to be tough. We're not going to push up on you and be like, hey, you're getting extorted, pay us this or you're done. They're going to finesse him. Hey, buddy, hey, man, we like you, man. We like what you did. We believe in your cause, man. You got a lot of potential. You just got, but also you're new here and you got a lot to learn. Just stick with us, man. Just stick with us. By the way, Big D over there, that 320-pound, 6'7" guy, he's, he doesn't get a lot of money, man. And he's really hungry. If you could maybe buy him, about $15, $25 worth of stuff every week. And also, me, I'm really out here campaigning for you. I just went and had a big meeting with the Bloods, and then I talked to the leader of the Aryans, man. I told him you're with me and I'm trying to teach you and you're really a good kid, man. So I stopped all that from happening. You know what I mean? They were going to get you, but I stopped it, man. And so for now, at least for now, we're on good terms. They're not going to get you, but ooh, man. Anyways, I really wish I could call my girl, man. It just, I don't have any money on the phone, man. If somebody could just put like a couple $100 on there and I could really rebuild my relationship with my baby mama and start my family again, stay in touch. And also, man, I've lost like 20 pounds in the last 3 weeks. I'm so hungry, man. If you could just, I don't know, man, if somebody just had some money they'll really, from the sidelines, really try to hit him like that. Now, if he's just like, oh man, yeah, I feel you, that sucks. Well, I hope you work it out with your baby mama. By the way, appreciate you doing that favor for me with the leader of the Aryans. But anyways, yeah, good luck with that. Oh, they're not going like, no, well, then they're like, yeah, okay. Yeah, go. All right, now, how about this? Here's what it is now. That's when you'll see that pressure really get dropped. And Carmelo's so stupid. He probably would do that. He probably wouldn't even get the implication of we're trying to do this the nice way and let you feel a little dignity, keep a little bit of pride and ego, wake up in the morning, look yourself in the mirror, and at least like feel okay about it. But if you really want to get just dominated in here, well, there's the way to do it. Don't help them out. Don't offer to alleviate their issues that they casually mention. Which brings me to my next thing. You help them and 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 you help them. You know what? I've been helping this guy for 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 years now. Who knows? Surely by now we're friends. We're good friends. We've shared our life stories. We've talked about the women in our past, our families. We told the stories of how we got locked up. We've shared so much. We've just been through so much together. We've eaten together. I fed him when I was hungry, and then he fed me when I was hungry. And we're friends now. We're family. Just like Charleston White, even whether that recording is true or not. I'm trying to explain whether that recording is true or not. That happens all the time. You think you can spend years giving everything to somebody and thinking you are on such good terms with somebody, you're practically friends and family, because those people are all you got at the end of the day. You can call home and talk to mom and talk to Grandpa Joe. We love you, son. Stay safe. Yeah, I get it. But at the end of the day, you're in there. You're in that world, and those are the physical beings you are around, looking at and interacting with every day. So it is only natural, if you don't have the wherewithal to remember, no one in here is your friend. Everyone in here would snake you and bite back you and stab you right in the back of the neck for the right price and the right opportunity. I don't care who it is or how long y'all have been buddies in prison. I've seen it all too many times. So he's got a valuable lesson that he needs to take note of and learn here before he goes to prison. If you want to start getting ahead of the curve here, buddy. Charleston White, whether that's true or not, that is how it goes. You pay. Hey, I can pay people and I'll stay safe. That is true. You can pay people and you'll stay safe. Then when someone else comes along and they got more power, their power or influence in the gang realm outweighs the price that you're paying. Negated. Someone comes along and has a higher price. Negated. Someone comes along, anything. Oh, your parents we're kind of struggling right now. We got a lot of bills. We got some car payments. We just bought, because we used that donation money to get a Rolls Royce and a mansion. So we're kind of trying to figure out how to pay taxes on that. We really don't have any money to spare you, Carmela. Sorry, little buddy. Maybe in like 2 or 3 months. Guess what? Hey guys, I don't know. My money's run out. They're going to sell you off. Hey, anybody wants to get him? Just pay us $1,500 and we'll let you get them on up out of there. And when I say get you on up out of there, I mean they're going to stab you to oblivion. That quick. It could have been years you were doing this with this guy. That quick, you're done. So Carmelo has a hard lesson to learn here. That's just facts. I don't know if he watches my videos. I don't know if he doesn't. If he does, he's probably pooping his pants, I would imagine. But you know what? Everything I said is real and facts. And I think any prison YouTuber, content creator would back me up on that. Any CO in the comments, former CO, former inmate, current inmate, someone who has a loved one who's in prison, who talks to them and they're honest about the ongoings of prison, would back me up and say that is exactly how it goes. And Carmelo, if you think one little 40, 50-year-old guy who's, he hadn't been in prison for a few decades now, and now he's rich and all he cares about is money. If you think that guy, he pulled the wool over my eyes. Boy, he really tricked me. He slid right under my radar. Oh, he got me. Brother, that's minor leagues compared to where you're going. They're gonna tear you limb from limb and eat you alive. If you can't even spot that with Charleston, you silly little boy, you better tighten up. You better figure it out, because you don't have that street mentality. If you were really a thug, if you were really like that, if you were really a gangster, you would have been born and raised in that lifestyle and already be able to spot it. But you weren't. You were privileged. You're in a nice little part of town and you had a nice life. And you know what? There's nothing wrong with that. There's everything right with that. You had a nice life and a nice future ahead of you, and you screwed it up. It's not a bad thing to not be a gangsta and know about the street life. It's a good thing. And you messed up a good thing wanting to be a bad person. And you were a bad person. Now you're about to get a bad life with some real bad motherfuckers. That's all I got to say about that. Let me know what you think in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the video. Other than that, I will see you next time.